Once upon a time, in the Garden of Eden, there was a beautiful pond. It was filled with plants and creatures of all kinds, living and working together in a perfect symbiosis of cooperation and love. All the creatures listened to the elders and respected them for the work they had done to help make the pond so beautiful, and adored them for the knowledge and wisdom they had acquired over their lifetime. The pond creatures admired and respected the plants and bottom feeders for keeping the water clean and clear for everyone, and they all lived together in harmony and unity. One day, a tiny spore landed in the deep water in the middle of the pond and started to sink. So some of the pond creatures gently lifted the spore and placed him in the soft mud at the edge of the pond. "Here, little spore," they said, "you'll be safe here and have the most sunlight, oxygen and nutrients where you can grow and prosper." "Thank you," said the little spore. "My name is cyanobacteria, but everyone calls me pond scum." As time went on, the pond scum did indeed grow and thrive and prosper, and started to spread out over the surface of the water. But the pond scum saw that the other creatures had plenty of abundance too, and grew jealous. "Those pond creatures gave me the best of the sunlight, oxygen and nutrients, so they must know that I am better than them," the pond scum thought to itself. "I want more." So the pond scum started spreading and growing more and more across the surface of the pond. Now there was a little frog in that pond. He was born and raised in the pond, and he loved it and all the pond creatures very much. So much, in fact, that he liked to climb out of the pond and go and sit on his favorite rock to bask in the sun, where he could see the whole pond from his vantage point. But one day, as he looked, he saw that the pond scum was spreading over the surface of the pond. It blocked out the sunlight and filled the water underneath with toxic waste, so that nothing under it could survive. The pond creatures that were able to moved to other parts of the pond, but were beginning to get crowded together. So the little frog jumped back into the pond and said to the other pond creatures, "Look, the pond scum is taking over the pond and stealing all the sunlight, oxygen and nutrients." Those at the bottom were now too busy trying to clean up after everyone else to listen to him. And those nearer to the surface just laughed. "You're a crazy little frog. Look, there is plenty of everything here for us. And if those at the bottom don't have enough, then it's their own fault for not working hard enough." The little frog was sad and climbed back out of the pond for another look. But this time he saw that the pond scum had taken over almost the whole of the pond. All the other pond creatures were now crammed together in one tiny corner of the pond, jostling and fighting over the remaining space, sunlight and resources. So the little frog jumped back into the pond, and this time it was chaos, pandemonium and panic. "Look," said the little frog, "it's the pond scum that is stealing everything and crowding you all together." The other pond creatures stopped and looked at the pond scum and were shocked. "Well, why didn't you tell us?" they shouted. "What can we do about it?" The little frog sighed and said, "Okay, you only have 3 options at this point. Firstly, you can pray that the gardener comes along in time, scoops that pond scum up in a big net and puts it on the compost heap." On hearing this, many of the creatures went off and started praying, laughing and telling each other, "It's okay, the gardener will come and save us." "Secondly," said the little frog, "you can all take a small bite out of the edge of the pond scum. It will be unpleasant, unpalatable, hard to swallow, and leave a bad taste in your mouth. But that will provide enough nourishment to keep you going. Day by day, bit by bit, you will force the pond scum back to the edge of the pond and into the thick, oozy mud, where it belongs. And if 7.8 billion pond creatures all do that at the same time, the water will be clear by the morning. The pond creatures shifted nervously and looked around at each other, each waiting for someone else to go first. Your only other option, said the little frog, is to evolve, grow a pair of lungs, and climb out of the pond. The long, awkward silence that followed was eventually broken by the appearance of a beautiful princess at the side of the pond. The little frog looked up at the princess, she looked down at the little frog and smiled. She reached down and kissed the little frog, and as she did so, she wished, "Please make us the same." And with a blinding flash of light, a puff of smoke, a cascade of rainbows, unicorns, fluffy bunny rabbits and candy floss, and an ever so satisfying sound, the beautiful princess turned into a little frog. They fell in love and lived happily ever after. And the moral of this story is that if you are a beautiful princess and you are about to kiss a frog, be careful what you wish for. The end. And have a fabulous day.